Ok, si sta avviando la live di YouTube. Nel frattempo... No, sì, Paola, tranquillo, questo è sempre per quelli in presenza. Colgo l'occasione per farvi vedere le bottiglie da Vinci che abbiamo fatto. 50 centi, grazie mille. Grazie. Ecco, loro due fanno lo shawl. E perché se non lo sapete, questo Meet qua è in inglese. C'è un livello di difficoltà altissimo. Cioè, no, spero di no. E loro, cioè, se avete domande riguardanti la lingua, sono loro. E cioè, aspetto che entrano gli altri per fare la presentazione fatta bene. Perfetto. Allora, sia voi in presenza, sia voi in diretta Google mi sentite... Aspetta, mi vedete? Ciao. Allora, questa è l'assemblea comune, quindi assemblea di tutte le scuole di Trento, o almeno quelle che hanno aderito, e qui particolarmente si parlerà di arte manifestante. Quindi, prima di tutto, adesso ci sarà... Beh, in realtà potete anche accendere il microfono. Adesso ci sarà questo signore che vedete, che è Tobias Groot, è un artista che viene dall'Irlanda, adesso è di stanza a Berlino, è un visual artist e appunto terrà questa conferenza di mezz'ora in cui a parte parlerà in inglese, quindi grande opportunità. Avrete le domande potete farle anche in italiano, ci saranno queste due donzelle che le tradurranno e che ci aiuteranno dal punto di vista comunicativo con Tobias. E nulla, buona assemblea, spero vi divertiate, spero vi piaccia. Applauso per Tobias.
Good morning. Good morning. Can you hear us good?
I can hear you perfectly.
Okay.
Can you hear
Hi.
me?
Good morning. So thank you for being here. So if you want to start with your presentation and talk about what you do, and at the end we will have about 10 minutes for the questions that we can translate. So yeah, if you want to start, thank you.
Yeah, sounds good. It's funny because I can't see who I'm talking to. That's kind of weird. But I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Oh, I can't share my screen. I'm so sorry. I have to restart my browser. I'll be back in 1 minute.
Sì, ha detto che non riesce a presentare lo schermo, quindi adesso torna subito. Welcome back. Mi sento. Okay.
All right, it works now, right?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, yeah. All right. Well, I'm then going to start with a little introduction. Hi, everyone. I'm Tobias Groot. I'm a Dutch artist based in Berlin at the moment. In 2019, I graduated from the Gerrit Rietveld Academy, which is an art school based in Amsterdam. It's a fantastic school. I graduated in the department of photography there. Yeah. And yeah, since I was studying, I have always been working with photography, but also 3D animation and yeah, CGI, computer generated imagery. So these kind of techniques already started when I was studying. My work deals a lot with self-portraiture. I often start to create images from myself, and I'm often looking for some kind of intimacy within the digital realm or with technology. So yeah, I basically start with my own body and try to translate that into something digital, either through photos or through video, or what you can see here is like a portrait that is based off of a portrait of me, but kind of degenerated by a neural network, a artificial intelligence. I like playing around with those kind of new technologies like AIs and algorithms to see how the machine basically reacts to something that I give to it. Let's start with the project that I did in 2019. It was called Scratching the Surface. I was inspired by science fiction stories about kind of AIs that start to develop awareness and or start to create or recreate the world around them. So yeah, I developed some kind of story about an AI that is trying to understand how humans work. Are we still good? Okay. What do we do? About an AI that is trying to understand how humans work, how they feel emotions, how they talk about emotions. It basically started off when I was writing pieces of text. I was making kind of diary entries where I was explaining my physical experiences, my intimate experiences, things that I felt in my body, sex, emotions, things like that. And then when I started to train an AI on those pieces of text that I had written, it started to write its own new texts. And from there, this kind of story grew about a machine that is trying to talk about emotions and feelings. There's a video of that. So yeah, those pieces of text that you saw, those are written by the AI based off of my original diary entries. Here you can see different installations of it. On the left side, you see it at my university, the Rietveld. There's two images hanging as a diptych, then the neural network portrait that we were looking at before, and then also a piece of latex that is pressed between two acrylic pieces of glass. Now on the right side, I played around in a more like darker dungeon-like space. This is something that I developed in 2020. I tried to be there for you. It was hard Corona times. I was thinking about how humans interact and how touch all of a sudden felt so different during the pandemic, and how we still try to connect with people over technology or through technology. But when we do, there's also often like a kind of a sometimes some things get lost in translation, right? Also, when you maybe fight with someone over WhatsApp, that's always the worst because they always misinterpret what you say. It's always better to really talk to someone, and I try to kind of evoke that feeling over like if you love someone or if you're trying to date and it's going over WhatsApp or over some kind of app, and how this kind of intimacy is almost sometimes misdirected or doesn't come across as you want it to. So we see two 3D figures passing through each other in this space. The shot that you can see here is from an exhibition that I had quite recently, actually. The works that you see The sculptural works are by the artist called Janina Vrije. She does sculptural work. The exhibition was based around the idea of how man and machine interact and how they create how we see a future in that relationship. You can see the projection that I showed right here. This is what the animation looked like. And when I show this work, I like it to be quite big. It has to be like around 2 meters high, because it's very interesting if the projections, if the figures are kind of larger than they are in real life. The relationship that you then have with the images really becomes very intense. What else do we have? Go over this quickly. This is a work that I made for the opera in Amsterdam. I was invited to work for the season of 2021-2022, which was amazing. And the left corner, you see like one of the images that I made was printed on a banner and put up in front of the opera in Amsterdam. And it's like 5 stories high. You can see a little person walking there in a white shirt. So it's an enormous poster, and I was very proud to have my work being put up in front. This video was made for the opera called Dennis and Katja. That's about based on a true story of 2 Russian teenagers that run away from home and are being chased by the police. So that's what that opera is about. This video I've made for the opera called Der Zwerg. It's an opera about self-reflection and self-actualization and falling in love, I guess. That I'm currently working on, it's called First They Gave Me Bones. The whole setup isn't too different from the project that I showed you that I did in 2019. It's also about some kind of AI or digital entity that you can see here. I got printed on aluminum. I don't have an installation shot of those. Yeah, they're basically like a torn apart photographs of my body and my skin. It's a kind of when something goes wrong in that process. I think it's interesting when there's little glitches or little faults, so you can really see where the machine fails or is trying to understand but can't. That image I got printed on a huge sheet of matte paper. The video kind of showcases a natural object constantly being revealed, but nothing is really there. I can show you. It also has a soundscape to it. I will explain that to you in a bit. The soundscape that you hear is produced by the composer and artist called Laura Dennis. When I first started this project, I was training an AI to resemble my voice. So you sentences that you say out loud, and then from there it can recreate your voice when you type it in. It was too accurate. The AI was too, it worked too well. It just sounded like me. And I had the idea that I just wanted to have it sound like a machine that is trying to speak. So I reached out to Laura, sent her all my texts, voice recordings of me reciting the writings of this project, and she just used only the recordings. Of course, I don't know how much you can actually hear over the microphone and speaker situation, so I'm not going to torture you too much with the sound. You can see the installation shots here. Was shown at W139 in Amsterdam, which is an amazing location. It's in the middle of the oldest center of Amsterdam. It's a huge space. I got assigned this room here upstairs, which I think really works for the project. It's nice and dark. At the floor is very sexy, shiny. Sculptures scattered around. You can see them here and here, and then there's also over there. Those are meant to resemble. In the back, you can see a video of also 3D scans of my body. I kind of cut those into pieces, and it's the video shows a black void with these pieces coming into existence and fading out of existence again. That was kind of it. It was a quick overview of my work. I hope.
Okay, thank you. We'll see if we have some questions for you.
Yes.
Ok, se avete domande da fare anche in italiano e poi noi le traduciamo.
Can I stop screen sharing?
Yeah, you can stop. Thank you.
Yes.
So the first question is, do you think that art should always like leave a message to the people who are watching it?
That's a big question. I think so. I think as an artist, you always are responding to the world around you. That can be either intentional or without intention. And by reflecting or by reflecting on the world around you, you create something. So I think you leave a message behind, even if you don't want to. It is always a reflection of what political work. I think whenever you produce something, it inherently has a meaning to it. Depends on, of course, how much meaning you want to put into it. But I think it's there. I don't know if that answers the question.
Ok, thank you. No, niente, gli abbiamo chiesto se per lui l'arte debba sempre avere un significato e ha detto che sia che sia intenzionale o no, cioè è comunque inevitabile che l'arte abbia un significato e che non abbia un impatto sull'ambiente circostante anche in politica o in generale.
Does this person think my work has a meaning message to it?
No, it was just a general question.
Okay, yeah.
Qui abbiamo una domanda qui.
Get close to this certain type of art, like what drawn you to this specific art and not just any other?
Well, it started off with photography. I was interested in photography because I kind of like the technical aspect of it, the fact that you can almost calculate it. I thought that was very cool. But also growing up, I mean, I played a lot of video games, and I loved always like this 3D aesthetic. So when I started developing my work, I kind of went more towards that. I think the reason why I always work